God will allow people to just do what they want to do. God will allow people to do what they want to do, okay? And he will whisper to them, you know, you might not want to do that. You might need to stop doing that. You might want to check that. You know, you might not want to treat this person this way. You might want to stop that, okay? All right? And then they're not listening, okay? They're not listening to that small voice. They're not listening to God, right? Cool, no problem. God just let them be, right? God just let them be. Because a lot of people, because they do things in the dark, right? Because they do things behind the scene and nobody sees it, nobody knows it. I'm like, then you don't believe. You truly don't believe in God. You don't. I don't know what you believe in, but you don't believe in God, in the true and living God, right? Because God sees everything. Everything that is done in the dark, God sees it. So I don't know what you're doing, right? Okay, cool. So God is saying, you know, I let people just do whatever they want to do, right? I let people do whatever they want to do. Because when it's all said and done, in the end, when they thought, oh, well, I could do whatever I wanted to do in those seasons, and then I could still sit with you at your table. And that's when God is like, yeah, sure. Yeah, so remember when I said I go to prepare a table in the presence of your enemies? Yeah, you are an enemy, okay? And had you listened to me in the season when I told you, stop doing that, stop saying that, stop messing with these people in that way, stop doing that, you didn't listen, friend. You do not have a seat at the table. There was many people in you guys' life. There was many people who had access to you, okay? If they had a good heart towards you, they would be sitting at your table. They will be feasting at the table that God has for you. You best believe that table is coming for you, and that table is being prepared for you, friend. A lot of people had access to you. A lot of people were right next to you, friend. Easy access. And God says, no, you got to be in the audience now, because you are an enemy. A lot of your people who you were friends with and you were family members with, God says they're an enemy. You're an enemy now. The things y'all did in the dark, you are now an enemy. Only friends get to sit at the table. Only people with a good heart get to sit at the table. That's why many people who had access to you, access is now denied. And they now have to sit in the audience with all the other enemies. Because God had been talking to these people. I'm telling you, you don't know the things that God has been saying to people over the years. You don't know the whisper that God whispers in people's ears. But you know who know? They do. They do. And they always come with this guilt because they know. Because they have a conscience and they know that God has spoken to them. They know that God has spoken to them because he has done it numerous times and they didn't listen. So now they don't get to have a seat at your table, because you best believe that table is being prepared for you, friend. And they lost the access because of their heart. They did not have a good heart towards you. And God is like, okay, sorry, access denied.